What's up, you guys? Welcome to the first ever episode of Quaranteening with Mary and Trey. Hope you guys enjoy. Let's hit that intro. What's up, quarantines? Hope you guys are enjoying quarantine. So while everyone seems to be talking about COVID-19 and the coronavirus, let's see what else is happening in our world. Let's hop into that. So this coronavirus may seem bad, but at least it's not the worst possible thing that could happen. I mean, it's not like aliens are invading. Sorry, 1 second. Hello? What's that? Oh, so that was my producers, and apparently aliens are invading, which is just great. We're screwed. Yep. So, there was footage released a few weeks ago by the freaking Pentagon, and yes, not that shape that no one uses, but that super secret agency thingy that has, like, all the top secret information on, like, Area 51 and all that stuff. So, they released some footage showing this small aircraft flying through the air and turning very supernaturally, making people question what it could be. Now, the government has been doing research into aliens for years now, and so they may finally be trying to give us a hint. And some people have been trying to deflect this and say that it isn't aliens, but I think all of us know that the real truth is that it is, and that we're being invaded by aliens at this very moment. So while the world may be ending from a possibly human-made virus and alien attacks, at least it isn't from global warming. But seriously though, on a more positive note, we can finally see to the bottom of the rivers in Venice, and we can see the little fishies swimming through, and the pollution in China has gone down over 25% and saves hundreds of thousands of lives just in the last 2 months, which is completely crazy. So while the world seems to be getting better, us humans seem to be getting more and more bored, and companies like YouTube, Netflix, TikTok, and Disney Plus have been going double time to release stuff for us to watch, like Instant Influencer, Never Have I Ever, nightly concerts, Trolls 2, The Willoughbys, Money Heist, Tiger King, Outer Banks, and a bunch more stuff for us to watch. So make sure, if you're really bored, then go watch that stuff, even if it's just teens making out on video. As of May 1st, it is now law in Illinois that you have to wear a mask inside stores, inside buildings, except for your home, of course, or just where you can't see 6 feet apart from other people to help stop the spread of the coronavirus. Now, everyone watching this should obviously be doing this because it is past time where you should be wearing a mask. Not only is it saving your life and other people's lives, but also is going to help us get back to normal much faster. And if you still want things like Lollapalooza and Coachella, then we're going to want to all wear a mask, all wash our hands, and make sure to stay cleanly so that we can stop the spread of the coronavirus and get back to normal much faster. So stop complaining and being babies and just wear a mask. It's that simple. However, something you definitely should not be doing is listening to absolutely any misinformation. Some people are just spitting it out left and right. A few days ago, Trump said that we should inject ourselves with Lysol. Now, he said he was being sarcastic, but who can tell at this point? One doctor said, just so that you can know, that this could literally kill you. So definitely do not do that. And the moral of the story is that you shouldn't listen to any misinformation and actually find some reliable sources like the Washington Post, New York Times, and the WHO, which is the World Health Organization, which is actually going to help us in these horrible times. On another completely different note, if you didn't already know, Mother's Day was this Sunday, so make sure to go spread some love to all those mothers, grandmas, and maternal figures in your life, as long as you stay 6 feet apart, of course. A great way you could do this is to buy her some flowers, candy, or if you really care about her, toilet paper, to make sure she enjoys her week. So while we all seem to be stuck at home, one kid had the great idea to spend all of his quarantine chore money, go buy a Lambo, and drive to California. Now, this would be a great idea if he had more than $3 and was older than 5 years old. Yep, This kid was 5 years old, was trying to buy a Lambo with $3. his parents really need to talk to him about how much stuff costs. On other child-related news, Zayn Malik and Gigi Hadid have recently made a pregnancy announcement, and oh my gosh, that is going to be a gorgeous baby because both of them are gorgeous. Also in pregnancy announcements, Elon Musk has recently announced that he's going to name his child this. Now, you may think, well, Trey, how do you pronounce that? Well, there's two ways that the internet has been saying that you pronounce this. Now, the first way is obviously X. And then I'm pretty sure the middle name is Ash. Pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. And then A12 is apparently Archangel. Don't exactly know what that means. X Ash Archangel. His teachers are going to have a very fun time. Another way the internet has been trying to pronounce this name is X, which is the unknown variable, which is apparently pronounced CHI or Chi. And then the AE symbol apparently stands for AI or I. And then A12 is, obviously, according to the internet, the 12th letter of the English alphabet, which is L, pronouncing the name Kyle. So, we don't actually know what Elon Musk and his wife are trying to name the child, and we don't know if California will allow it, but we will see in the future. Hope you guys enjoyed this short little news segment. Hope you got a few laughs, and let's see what quarantining has to offer next. Well, welcome, Aislinn. Thank you for being our first guest on our show, Quaranteening with Mary and Trey. How does it feel to be the first ever guest on the show?
Amazing.
Great. Well, we love that for you. Okay, so I have heard that you may have a new album coming out later this year. Would you like to spill any tea about that?
Well, I don't know much about it actually because my manager I'm not done with the song and me and my manager have not gone to recording it.
Mm-hmm.
I actually don't even know the name of the album yet, which might be a problem.
It's going to be determined in the future, right, though?
Yeah.
Great.
If you want, you can look out for a song, New Day.
Great. That sounds exciting. So would you like to give us a sample of one of your songs?
Yes. Are you prepared to wait 5 minutes as I get out my ukulele?
Sure. Yeah. Okay, we'll be right back.
2 hours later.
Okay, so now we're going to get to have a special treat of Aislinn playing one of her new songs, New Day, for us. Hit it.
The sun comes up, the sky is blue. Today's a perfect day, but nothing's new. Then the rain comes down when I'm falling out. Baby, it's okay, cause I'm gonna be okay. I say hello to people I know. I make new friends with something bad. When the rain comes down, when I'm falling out, baby, it's okay. Cause I'm gonna be okay. Some fun, but the thunder comes. Maybe it's hit or run, but I wanna see the sun. So I'll stay and run. Maybe one day, maybe one day. I feel the rain, now there's something, but it's okay. The sun comes up every new day.
Wow. That was a great song. I can't wait to hear the rest of the album. So I just wanted to talk to you about, your songwriting process and how you get the ideas for your songs, and specifically how you got the idea for your song New Day.
Well, I think the process for making New Day was actually me just sitting around in my bedroom doing nothing. I just happened to sit down, and then I was like, oh, I think The Sun Comes Up is a good starting line for a song. So I took out the ukulele and I, put together some words and the chords to go with them, and then that just came up. So
you just wait for inspiration to strike?
a little bit. I mean, sometimes I purposely sit on the floor and I just do whatever. I mean,
Yeah. So, do you have any advice for people who would want to write songs over quarantine?
yes. During quarantine, I would say either if you want to write a song, do it out of experience. Like, find something that you have experienced or that your friend has experienced or your family, and write about it. And maybe even just like write a story about it, or just write out what happened, or write out what you think about a topic or something, and then say, oh well, how can I make these words fit together with these ones? And yeah. And then if or in general, maybe you just see something on your wall. That's half the time what happens with me, because I just look at my wall around my bedroom. I'm like, oh, that'll make a good song. So just kind of use your surroundings.
Great. That's great advice. So, Aislinn, what you say has helped you get through quarantine and not be so bored?
Well, for me to get through quarantine, I've written maybe 2 songs actually. Maybe 1.5. I don't know. It's kind of been all a blur since it's been so long.
Yeah.
And I mean, keeping myself busy has been not actually that hard between schoolwork, because I'm still in 8th grade, so I still need to do school.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how
Same.
annoying and difficult that is.
Yeah.
So that keeps me pretty busy. I mean, I'm a pretty artsy person, so just making things, writing things, being silly, whatever, really, to just keep going.
Mm-hmm.
So going outside, that's always a really good inspiration for making songs too, just going outside, because there's so much you can pull from.
Yeah. There's just like pulling from your surrounding outside can be nice. What would you say was the first step in you wanting to write songs? Like, what inspired you to write music?
Well, I think the first thing that inspired me was just hearing songs in general that just were put together really well, and I had fun playing. Whether that's a song about, because like I didn't just learn ukulele from nowhere. I
Uh-huh.
mean, you know, yeah, just for me, learning to write songs and make songs was just from hearing songs, really. So like whether it was just listening to songs on YouTube, or from like playing them on my ukulele. Yeah, so just hearing songs in general that were very well made and put together helped a lot for when I tried to write one.
Yeah, that's great. Okay. Well, is there anything you would like to say to our viewers before we sign off?
You really covered it all.
Great. So thank you so much, Aislinn, for doing this interview with me today. I'm really excited for your new album. I hope you continue to write songs. And I'm just so proud of your manager. He's such a great person. I'm just inspired by him every day.
Oh, hi
Hey,
guys. Hey, I'm sorry I'm late.
it's
no, it's okay.
fine. Yeah.
I actually had a parent conference right before you, and I was trying to wrap it up, and she wasn't taking my cues.
Oh,
How are you guys?
We're doing good.
Oh, it's good to see your faces.
So Mary's gonna ask most of the questions because she was in charge of writing the questions for this segment. So, yeah.
Okay.
First question: how has shelter in place altered your daily life?
Oh boy. Well, I feel like this entire quarantine time we've had highs and we've had lows, and right out of the gate, personally and professionally, I felt, okay, this is how it's going to be. We're going to get on a schedule. We're getting up at this time. This is how the whole day is going. And then spring break happened, and I feel like we kind of lost a little steam.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's been a little challenging getting my own little crew back up to where we were, staying on that tight schedule. And it's been challenging. It's been very challenging, I will say, to work and to help my kids at the same time. So my little guy requires a lot of help. My two older ones are pretty self-sufficient, but my third grader is missing being in the classroom. He really needs that. He needs that teacher-directed time. And so I feel like I'm either spending my day very much teaching him and giving up my own classroom and my own teaching, or I'm teaching and he's suffering. So it's really hard because every day of the week, somebody's not getting what they deserve. It's either my own kids or my students. So that's just an internal battle that I have. It's very hard for me because I always like to give 100% to everything. So I'm really not able to do that, and that's tough.
Okay. Next question. What are some ways that students can be more productive during quarantine? And give me your opinions on how students can utilize their time more wisely.
Okay. It's easy, but it's all about just really holding yourself accountable, right? I really think keeping on a schedule is the number one thing. It's important to get up, and I think it's okay to say, you know what, I don't have to be up at 6:30. That's okay. But, maybe 7:30, maybe 8 o'clock, make sure you are up consistently at the same time every day, and make sure it's on you and not on your parents, because remember that your parents are going through a frustrating time too. It's challenging for everybody, right? So I would say, to all of those peeps that are tuning in right now, it's really important to get up at a certain time every day, same time, brush your teeth, hygiene, right? Sometimes I think, we are sitting around until 1 o'clock in e-learning or whatever, and then, oh my gosh, did I brush my teeth today, right? So maybe, I would really suggest sticking to that schedule, getting up, self-care, getting something to eat, and making sure that when you're sitting down to do your classes and e-learning, or if you're just working without a teacher in front of you, that you're without distractions. I've seen a lot of people make that mistake, where we're in e-learning and you're up and you're moving and maybe doing exercises and lifting weights in the background, and it's distracting to everybody. So my suggestion is really just to maintain that schedule. And I think the bonus to that for all of us is that if we do stick to our schedule, by 5 o'clock, we are done. There's no homework in the nighttime. There's no homework over the weekends. And when have we ever had that? So if we can stick to our schedule during the day, I just think it makes our evenings and weekends awesome.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Missy. Next question. As a teacher, what is your opinion on e-learning? And do you think that has made your students more or less productive?
Oh, that's a very good question. I think it's half and half. I think some kids really like it. I think some kids are doing a really nice job with this. And I feel that I'm even able, in some cases, certainly not within the classroom like I can in class, but with work that's turned in, I feel I have more time to be thoughtfully assessing work and commenting on work, so that my students are able to revise and make changes and make their pieces and their work better, which is great. I feel like there's not that time in the classroom. It's made me really think about being more intentional with what I teach and thinking about how much is too much and how much is just right. I think I kind of strayed from your initial question.
Oh, that's okay. Okay, I'll just move on to the next question. More about you. In what ways has quarantine been beneficial for you personally?
Beneficial for me personally. I think kind of piggybacking on where I was going, a couple things. Actually, I've been doing a lot more professional learning.
Mhm.
It has obviously helped me grow tremendously with figuring out new technologies, things that I never knew existed, like this, right? Zoom never knew existed 7 weeks ago. So, trying to push myself and keeping myself, holding myself accountable and keeping myself learning right alongside my students and making sure that I present things in a way that's going to be engaging and fun and where they're going to learn. And I, found some really great tools to use that I never knew existed before. So really just keeping myself learning has been a big bonus and having time to do that.
Okay. Next question. What must we do as a community to ensure that everyone is safe and healthy?
Oh my gosh, so many things, right? The obvious, right? We're all washing and wearing masks now. Outside, everywhere, right? Wherever we go to just really making sure that we all know that. I think the mask, with the mask wearing, I think education on that, because I think there's still a lot of people who are misinformed with that. We're using the masks, we're wearing them in case we're infected, and so that we are doing our part to keep people healthy. So I think making sure that we maintain that. And I think as time goes on and we're getting more and more stir crazy, we're missing our friends. There's some weeks where we're doing okay, and other weeks where we're just like, I want to hug someone who's not in this house. I want to go to the grocery store and not worry. And I think that people are going to potentially start slipping because we want all those things. And I would say to keep promoting why it's important and what can happen if we're not making smart decisions.
It's the last question.
It's fine.
What are some fun things you've been doing to stay busy in your free time during quarantine?
Oh, wow. A couple of fun things. We moved back into our house. I don't know if you guys knew we were out of our house because we did a big project in the house. We had to move out for 7 months, and we got to move back in during this quarantine time. So that's been great because I've been able to unpack and, just get the house back to how I want it. And so that's been really, really nice and fun. Super fun. I've been cooking so much. And it's really fun because I love to cook and I love to try to make new things. And that's been great. And getting my kids more involved in the kitchen too. Not as much as I'd like, but still, they've been picking recipes that they want to make, and then they get to make them with me. And that's been a lot of fun because I love cooking. And when we're in school and after school activities, there's not time. We're always on the go and we're eating out or we're ordering in. And so we just don't cook as much, but now we're doing it all the time. And I love that. Reading. Reading a ton, audiobooks. I'm getting out for my runs. Just, trying to keep myself mentally healthy and my kids too, getting outside with my kids as much as we can. And just, trying to take time each day to put the pause button on and put work and school aside and take a breather. And those are nice moments.
I actually have one last thing. Do you have any idea for people watching this of stuff they could do at home or things they could do to stay productive but have fun too?
I would just say there's so much out there, right? With all these technologies, TikTok, and if people are doing that, YouTube, I know that's old fashioned probably now, but there's so many resources out there to teach us something new. So I would say to someone to try to learn something new, a new skill. I I was taking an upholstery class right before we left, and now I can't be taking it. But even going to YouTube now, I could still be doing it. I actually have a sewing machine here at home, and why haven't I gone to YouTube and kept that going? So thank you for inspiring me with that question, because I think really during this time teaching ourselves something new that's not something that we would learn in school in a traditional atmosphere, right? Drawing 101, doing some tutorials to do something fun.
It's great.
Oh my gosh, thanks for interviewing me. Thanks for thinking of me. I'm happy to help.
Hey.
What's up, Trey? Hi, Mary.
Are we gonna start?
Oh. One sec. Okay, great. Okay, I'll start. So, Max, how has life been during quarantine, and what have you been doing to keep yourself busy?
So for a while the beaches were still open, so I was surfing a lot still, and so I was still getting a bunch of physical activity.
Mm-hmm.
So that was good. But now they've closed down the beaches everywhere, like basically within 50 miles from me, so I'm gonna start to suffer now. But before then I was doing okay.
Well, at least before then you were doing okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mary, do you want to say the next question?
Yeah. Okay. What are your opinions on e-learning and how has it made you more productive or how has it made you slack more?
E-learning?
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys, so what is the situation in California for like, do you still have to do work? How are they assigning work to you and all that stuff?
Oh, we do most of our work through this thing called Power School Learning. I'm not sure if you know about that. We have a lot of Zooms, and
Yeah.
we're actually still keeping pretty busy, which is unfortunate because I have to take care of my brother a lot more, and I'm trying to keep up with my work, so it's kind of tough.
Yeah. And how are they doing it with like grades? Are they doing like normal grades or are they like
At the moment, they're still doing grades. They're probably going to go to a pass and fail system very soon.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
you guys are completely frozen.
Oh, you're frozen too.
Okay. Can you at least hear me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Alright.
no, you're not frozen. You're fine now. Okay. So, what do you think we can do as a community to get through quarantine time together while staying apart?
Well, the main thing is we just have to respect social distancing because I live in this place called Laguna Beach in Orange County, which is adjacent to Newport Beach, and the reason that all the beaches are closed right now and that no one can go outside is because on Saturday during the weekend, these people took pictures of Newport Beach and everyone was super close together. No one was social distancing. And because of that, now we have to be in quarantine for a longer time and we can't get as much physical activity. But if people in Newport Beach respected the rules and social distance, this wouldn't have happened. And now all of Orange County can't surf because of it and go to the beach.
Yeah, because
So
people weren't social distancing.
yeah, so it kind of sucks. And if we just social distancing and respect ourselves, then
Things could have stayed partially open. Things could have stayed partially open if people were social distancing.
Yeah, but instead we're just stuck inside now. Which is unfortunate. Very unfortunate.
Yeah. Okay, Mary, do you want to ask the next question?
Yeah. Did you already say? Okay.
I just said, how's your community changed? Or no, I just said, what do you think we can do as a community?
Okay. Next question. How has your community changed after shelter in place? So you kind of already answered that question.
Well, nothing's really changed a lot, to be honest. I mean, it's kind of just a weird time, but I don't think the culture or anything central to the community has really changed in a substantial way, for better or worse.
Okay, so what are your opinions on how we can stay productive and have fun during this period where we have so much time on our hands, so much like free time on our hands? Or do you not have a lot of free time?
For me, I think there are actually a lot of great programs online if you want to keep your mind active. You've probably seen ads on YouTube for this thing called Masterclass, but they're, Masterclass, it's $180 a year and you get to share a subscription with someone else, and that's for a whole year. So I feel like there are a bunch of great opportunities to learn if you want to stay sharp during this time, especially since my school sucks. So
Yeah. Okay, so do you have any ideas of like fun stuff people could do at home while they're stuck inside?
fun activities, just like Disney Plus, whatever. Plays around. I mean, I think for 8th graders especially, it's sad that we have to stay inside, but it's kind of nice to have like a little bit of kind of a break before we
definitely
go into high school, because we still have work, but I still feel more relaxed because we have so much free time. So I don't know. I think it's just nice for us to be able to have this kind of, it's like time is frozen for a bit and we kind of just have a time to enjoy our families and our siblings, because we're going to be seeing them a lot less in high school. So I would say just, enjoy this little free period, because in high school you're going to have a ton more work and it's going to be pretty crazy.
What are some like deeper ways quarantine has like changed your mental state and like your physical state and like just how you're doing?
Well, for me, because I was getting bullied in school, quarantine has actually been kind of nice for me because I'm not getting bullied, obviously. So I've actually have had a lot of time to like meditate and do yoga and work through my problems. And so quarantine's been actually mostly positive for me in a weird way. And also, I'm moving out of the neighborhood in June. I'm going to with a better high school. So for me personally, this has been a bit of a blessing for me, just for like the reasons I said.
Yeah. So I just have a question. So like in California, do you go to the high school that's in your neighborhood? Does like everyone go to their neighborhood high school? kind of
Yeah, that's
how it
one
works?
of the things that's so cool about California. To get into a good high school, you don't need to do a bunch of crazy testing like I was going to have to do in Chicago.
Mhm.
You can actually just, the neighborhoods you live in, you automatically get into that high school.
Yeah,
Um, right now, I live in a pretty trash community instead of with pretty trash education, but I'm going to move to a better community with some of the best education in Southern California, and I don't need to do any crazy tests to go in the high school. I
yeah,
just I just need to live there, and that's one of the things that I like about California. I feel like our public education system is pretty awesome. So
yeah. I have most of my dad's side of the family lives in California, so it's been really easy for like all my cousins to like find schools to go to. And I have a cousin who's the same age as me, and like it's just weird to me how like he didn't have to do anything to get into high school because I'm just like so used to like having to do all this like tests and stuff.
yeah, I mean, I remember in seventh grade before knew I was moving, I was like grinding to get straight A's so that I could get into a good high school. And now that I'm here, it's kind of taken a lot of pressure off me, which I don't know. I think it's very fortunate, and I wish like everyone didn't have to feel a huge amount of pressure to get into a good high school, which I think is how it can be in Chicago sometimes, unfortunately.
Hmm. Okay, so I have one more question for the like quarantine questions thingy. So, what has been something you've been doing over quarantine to stay productive or just keep having like fun over since we're like all stuck at home?
So one thing I'm doing is, so my dad is like very educated, and his work is predominantly about literature and books and literature in relation to religion and stuff like that. So for me, I can actually still receive a fair amount of, I'm lucky enough to receive a fair amount of education just from my dad. So he assigns me a lot of great books to keep my mind sharp. And that's basically the way I've been staying sharp during quarantine.
Well, thank you so much, Max, for doing this.
Thank you, Max. Thank you, Bart.
Okay, well, it was great talking to you.
See
Okay,
you.
see you. Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, let's hop into this next segment where I'm going to join a Zoom call with my grandma and my friends and learn how to play a game called Bridge. This is a segment we like to call Gaming with Grannies. Hope you enjoy.
Hi, Trey's grandma.
Hi. Hi, Mary.
Okay, so yes, this is my friend Mary. We're doing the project together, so that's good. Okay, so
All right, great.
Mary, so okay, so Moo, I'm gonna ask you some questions now. Okay.
All right, great.
So what has it been like in quarantine for you?
Well, actually, it's been not too bad because I not only have my husband here, but my sister. So there's three of us. So, it's not like we're totally isolated. And we do get out about once a week to go shopping. So, and my
That's good.
sister is still selling real estate, so I get to talk to her about that. So that's good. It's
Mhm.
not too bad.
So have you had any difficulties using technology?
Well, I'm not too good at some of this. This is a new experience being on Zoom.
Hmm. So what was your experience like playing bridge online instead of in person?
Oh, well, it was fun. The first time I wasn't on FaceTime. The second time I was playing bridge with FaceTime, and so we could hear each other. The first time I made a mistake and I couldn't tell anybody that I'd made a mistake, but so we had to play the hand without being right in the right suit. But
Oh.
anyway, it was fun because one of my friends is all the way to Iowa. So
Oh,
it was fun.
cool. Okay, well, great. So I understand that bridge is a difficult game, but we'll see if we can try and learn a little bit of how to play it today. So now I'm going to let everyone else in. Thank you so much for being a guest on our show, Moo. And as an explanation for everyone watching this, I call my grandma Moo because her last name is Holstein and they're a Holstein cow. So it's just been my nickname for her. So just for the purposes of this, we're all going to be calling her Moo, just to brush up any confusion that you have. So today she's going to be trying to teach us how to play a game called Bridge. Now, have any of you guys heard of Bridge before or played it before?
I have.
I've heard of it.
I've heard of it, yeah.
Abby, Mary?
I've heard of it, but I've never played it.
Yeah, I've never heard of it either, which is why I was interested to learn how to play it.
My grandma plays bridge too.
Oh, cool. What?
Like a card game?
Yeah, it's a card game. But yeah, because we're all stuck at home, there's like an app.
I'll talk about bridge, and then it's something you might want to practice on Trickster. And
Okay.
there's a way to go in and just practice, which is good to do. Once you learn a little bit about bridge, you really need to practice. So if you play it with a regular deck of cards that you would play poker with or something, you know, the kind of deck that has 52 cards and it has ace, king, queen, jack, and then 10 down through 2. So then you always need 4 players to play bridge. Well, there is a way to play with a dummy, but that's different. So you have to have 4 bridge players, and you deal out the cards, and everybody gets 13 cards. You deal out the whole deck. And the whole point of taking and playing bridge is to take tricks. And so the bidding is what makes it really interesting and a little more tricky, you might say. So you have to be able to decide how many tricks you think you're going to take. Well, if everything was equal, you know, each side would get at least 6 cards, and but there's 13. And so if you think you and your partner can take more tricks than the half of them, then, and that's what the bidding is all about. And the person who wins the bid in bridge gets to say what suit is going to be trump. So there's 4 suits in a deck of cards. Does anybody know what the suits are? Clubs, diamonds, hearts, and spades, right? You're right, clubs, diamonds. And the interesting thing about it is when you're bidding, you have to bid in order, and it is nice that it works out, it's alphabetical. So the lowest deck is clubs, the next deck is, the next suit is diamonds, the suit above it is hearts, and the suit above that is spades. The 2 lower suits, clubs and diamonds, are known as minor suits, and the 2 higher suits, hearts and spades, are known as major suits. And you only have to take 4 tricks above half to make a game in hearts, and you have to take 5 tricks above 6. In other words, you have to take 11 tricks in order to make a game in a minor suit. So I'm not going to get into all the complications of scoring and everything so much, because the real key is to be able to bid. Now, the person across the table from you, you know, you sit at a table where there's 4 sides, and we kind of often refer to as north, east, south, west. But the person directly across the table from you is your partner. And what you're trying to establish when you bid is how many suits above 6 that you think you and your partner will be able to take. So you have to estimate how many tricks you think you're going to take. And the way that you do that in bridge is you count the points in your hand. So an ace is worth 4 points. A king is worth 3 points. a queen is worth 2 points, and a jack is worth 1 point. So in a deck of cards, there's a total of 40 points. Each suit has 10 high card points. If everybody got an even distribution and you each had 10 points, nobody would bid, because you really don't bid unless you have at least 12 or 13 points in your hand to start the bidding. So, and to make a game, you don't have to do it all in one go around of the cards. So sometimes you'll just bid, say, 2 of hearts. You and your partner think that you're going to take 6 plus 2. So that turns out to be 8 tricks that you're going to take. And if you make that what you bid, then you score a partial score, and you can add it to the next time around and try to get the game. Probably the best thing is for you to, when you go on Trickster by yourself, you can just practice, and then it shows you how many high card points you have, and then you can decide what suit you want. So if you were to have, if I was to open up my hand and I saw that I had at least 13 points, I would want to bid. And if my partner has at least 6 points in their hand, they would want to answer. That way, between the two of us, we would have at least 19 points. We know that we have at least 19 points. So we know that we're going to probably take more than the 6. We're going to take at least 6 plus 1 or 6 plus 2, whatever level we've been bidding at. So right now, do you have any questions about what we've talked about so far? Does it make any sense to you?
So from what I understand, so you get points that you can bid on.
Well, you count the points in your hand. In other words, you count the high card points. So if you, let's say you had 2 aces, and then you had a king and a queen. So 2 aces would be 8, because you'd count the aces as 4 each. The king would add 3. That would mean you had 8 plus 3. That would mean that you had 11. And then if you had a jack 2, you would count that, and that would mean you had 13 points. So you would think, I will open the bidding. And so you might have had a couple of passes to you. The person who deals out the card starts the bidding, and then it goes around. And sometimes your partner has already passed, but you have 13 points. But then when your partner's turn comes around again, they'll bid because they have at least 6 points. So first of all, you have to figure out how many points you have in your hand.
Mm-hmm. So, what's the end goal of the game?
The end goal of the game is to get the most points, and you want to get a game. And when you're playing rubber bridge, that means that you're going to play till one of you gets 2 games in a row. So if I get a game and then your team gets a game and then I get another game, I have won the rubber, and I get 700 points for that. So at the end of the day, now, like, I play party bridge with 7 other women, and we don't necessarily play to a whole rubber, because we change partners every 4 games, because we're playing a party game, but we still add up the score.
And so how would you communicate with your partner about how many points you have if they're across the table?
Well, you tell them, in other words, if I opened 1 heart, let's say, my partner has to bid a suit above me to answer, but she knows that I have at least 13 points because I opened. If I open one heart, she thinks she has anywhere from 13 to 18 or 19 points. If I had 20 points in my hand, I would open at the 2 level. But I opened one heart. So then if she wants to answer me, let's say the person next to me doesn't bid anything. She has to say 1 spade, or she has to say 2 clubs, 2 diamonds, or she might want to say 2 hearts. I bid hearts. And she might just want to tell me, look, I also have hearts. So I would not bid a suit unless I have at least 4 cards in that suit. So if I open one heart, it means I have at least 13 points and I have at least 4 hearts. I would not open unless I had 4. Now, if she answers me in hearts right away, it usually means she also has 4 hearts, but she may not have a very strong hand. She may only have 6 points. But between the 2 of us, we have 8 hearts. There's only 13 hearts. So good chance that between the 2 of us, we're gonna have the most trump.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there you go.
Now, there's the cards. All
Okay.
right. Let's just pretend you're going to count the cards here. Okay, how many points does this hand have?
Does someone else want to say it?
Can anybody count them? There's an ace, and there's
So
2
that's 4
kings.
points.
That's
4 and
2 kings.
and 2 kings. That's 6. So that's
Wait, did
that's
Trey
10.
do
And the queen gives you 2 more, and the jack gives you 1 more. So 12, 13, and there's another jack. So there's 14 points.
So you have over 13
Plus,
points.
look at the long spade suit. You have a huge spade suit.
So you would want to bid 1 spade,
So
right?
you would bid 1 spade. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I haven't organized the other hands, but I'm just going to organize your partner's hand here. So this is kind of unbelievable, but your partner over here, this is your partner's hand. And look what, in spades, which you just opened, 1 spade, your partner has the ace and the queen in your suit.
Oh, wow.
But she only has 3. So, but look at, total points, you see she has a queen and a king, 2 queens and a king, and so she has 3 queens. That's 6 points, and 4 with the ace. Oh wow, she has 12.
So she would want to go double in on spades, right?
Since she has such good spade support, but look at those hearts. So she would actually probably want to say that she has 2 hearts, and then the partner, because the partner has so many spades, the partner would say 2 spades because doesn't really want to go in the hearts. And so then the person would come back and say 4 spades because they actually can make game. So that's I think what makes bridge so interesting is because every hand that you get dealt has a mystery to it.
So would you just bet over and over again, or is that not what you do?
No, so what happens is the person who takes the bid, the person to their left leads the first card. And whatever card they lead, you have to follow suit in it as long as you can. Once you run out of that suit, like say in that hand that we talked about over here, if they let out
so by leading, you mean by leading out? What do you mean by leading out exactly?
Yeah, lead out means that you play the first card and everybody else has to follow suit. Now, if your partner has bid something, then usually you would lead what your partner had bid, the suit that your partner had bid, because that usually means that the partner has a high card and not take it. So you have to follow suit, and once you run out of something, like my partner has a singles and ace, so they would take the first suit in that first one, and then after that, anybody who leads the heart, my partner would take it with the trump. So, but usually one of the first things you do when you play is you want to draw out the trump so that your opponents can't trump one of your winners. So usually between you and your partner, you'll have
You're trying to get the highest card.
3 or 4 of the high cards, and you'll try to draw the trump out.
So you're trying to get the highest card, right?
Right.
But what does Trump mean?
Hello? Oh, I see some.
Yeah.
Trump means the biggest card, right?
Oh, okay.
No, trump is the suit that you named as the best suit.
So basically, this is how the rest of the game would go. You'd keep leading and then playing your cards until you run out of cards.
Right. But bridge is one of those games that once you learn it, you'll play it the rest of your life. I mean, I have friends that are in their 90s. Even one lady I play with is 101 years old, and she's still playing bridge.
Wow.
So once you learn it, you'll always enjoy the game of bridge, I think.
If you want to learn more about how to play bridge, we'll be releasing a video Saturday on how to play bridge more in depth. Thank you guys so much for watching Gaming with Grannies. I would like to give a big thank you to my grandma, Sharon Holstein, or Moo, as you've heard us call her. And I hope you guys learned how to play bridge and have some fun playing it during quarantine. Hope you enjoyed. Let's hop right into the next segment. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Quarantening with Mary and Trey. Hope you learned a lot, had a lot of fun, and most importantly of all, are starting to enjoy your quarantine. I want to give a big shout out to Mary, who's been editing this whole thing and doing all the behind the scenes work. And thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you maybe in 2 weeks if we get our season renewed and if we get to do more episodes. So thank you guys so much for watching again. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on your post notification bell for more episodes. See you guys next time. Bye.